Garmin Quatix 7 promises to be the only watch you need on the water and off. Either we have finally hit smartwatch nirvana for boaters, or we are staring at another case of expensive confusion. On paper, it sounds wild. An always-on 1.3-inch display, stainless steel bezel, 10 ATM water rating, touchscreen plus buttons, remote control for your Garmin chart plotter and Fusion stereo, tied data on the watch face, Garmin Pay, 24/7 health tracking, and optional BlueChart G3 and Lakeview G3 maps. But here is the thing, spec sheets are one thing, boats are another. I wore it daily and took it on 3 weekend sails and a week around the marina to see what sticks. I have put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 3 weeks of testing. Here is what the Quatix 7 claims to do, straight from the marketing. It is a rugged marine-first multi-sport GPS watch that connects to your Garmin chart plotter, streams boat data, controls autopilot and Fusion stereo, and gives you tide info and anchor alarms. It doubles as a full fitness watch with built-in sports apps, smart notifications, Garmin Pay, and detailed health metrics like wrist-based heart rate, stress, sleep, and pulse ox. It supports optional BlueChart G3 coastal charts and Lakeview G3 inland maps and is water-rated to 10 ATM. Sounds criminally generous, right? Pretty bold claims for a watch that on Amazon shows a 4.6 rating and pricing that can dip around $339.99 depending on the listing. But here is where things get interesting. Reality check. They claim seamless marine control. What you actually get is very good integration if and only if you have a compatible Garmin chart plotter on the same network and you are willing to fiddle with settings. Autopilot control works, but there is a tiny lag and you will want to keep manual buttons handy. Fusion stereo volume and track control is great from the wrist. I used it on the bow while anchoring and it saved shouts to the cockpit. The reality is that connectivity hinges on your boat network and pairing. Not every older chart plotter plays nice. They claim tide data on the watch face and new alarms for anchor drag or tide changes. What you actually get is a useful tide complication and tide widget, but those alarms are most reliable when the watch is paired with your chart plotter or updated via your phone. If you head out of cell range and forget to sync, your tide station data can be outdated, and the anchor drag alarm is only as good as your GPS fix and the radius you set. Let's be real. It is a solid aid, not a magic anchor watch. They claim support for BlueChart G3 and Lakeview G3 maps. What you actually get is optional charts you can load on the watch, which is nice as a backup, but the download process over Wi-Fi is slow, storage is finite, and the base Quatix 7's transflective display is readable in sun but not as crisp as an AMOLED. Also, those charts cost extra, so budget accordingly. Without them, you will mostly rely on the boat's plotter anyway. They claim multi-day battery life and marathon GPS hours. Garmin quotes up to 18 days in smartwatch mode and up to around 57 hours of GPS-only tracking on the Fenix 7 class hardware the Quatix 7 is built on. What you actually get depends on settings. With always-on display, all-day HR, notifications, pulse ox-off, and 2 sailing sessions per weekend, I averaged 12 to 14 days. With a long GPS day, backlight at 30%, and Bluetooth music to earbuds, I burned about 8 to 10% per hour. Here is where it gets mathematically impossible. You will not see 57 hours if you run GPS, backlight high, music, and pulse ox. Those lab numbers assume minimal drains. They imply next-level GPS accuracy. What you actually get depends on the variant. The Sapphire model adds multiband GNSS and a sapphire lens. Many Amazon listings mix variants in one page. At the $339.99 price, you are almost certainly looking at the non-sapphire version without multiband. My tracks over open water were clean with 3 to 5 meter wobble in chop, which is fine for a wrist GPS, but not survey grade. They boast 10 ATM water rating. Reality, great for swimming, showers, heavy rain, and snorkeling. Rinse after saltwater. The touchscreen can misfire with droplets, but you can lock it or default to buttons during activities. Salt can stiffen buttons if you skip the rinse. Now the detailed breakdown. Build quality. Stainless steel bezel and rear case, quick-fit bands, and a 1.3-inch transflective MIP display at 260 by 260. It is not AMOLED, but in bright sun it is superb, which matters on deck. Weight is around 79 grams with the silicone band, so it feels substantial but not clunky. After 3 weeks, my bezel took one tiny scuff from a cleat and the glass stayed clean. If you want scratch resistance and multi-band GPS, the Sapphire variant is the play, but the price jumps. Battery life. In smartwatch mode with notifications, HR, and sleep tracking, I saw roughly 2 weeks. GPS sailing with boat data streaming over Bluetooth raised drain, but spread over a weekend, I still had 35 to 40 hours of recorded GPS time before a recharge. GPS plus music drops that to about 10 hours. If you chase the headline numbers, tune your settings, kill pulse aux, lower backlight, and skip music, marine integration. This is the reason to buy it. Autopilot nudge, heading hold, chart zoom, page swapping, and fusion controls from the wrist are genuinely useful. Anchor drag alarms and tide alerts add peace of mind, but do not replace seamanship. Setup took me about 20 minutes with a compatible Garmin plotter and Wi-Fi on the boat network. If your setup is mixed brand, expect compromises. GPS and mapping. Land sports are classic Garmin. Run, bike, swim, golf, ski with preloaded maps for resorts and golf courses. Topo maps download over Wi-Fi and work fine for hikes. Blue Chart and Lake View are a bonus, but again, they cost extra and the watch is a backup, not a helm. Here is what nobody tells you. Amazon listings often bundle the non-Sapphire and Sapphire under one umbrella. Some at bargain prices are renewed or older stock. I ran the reviews through 2 review analysis sites and spot-checked profiles. Most positives cite battery and marine control. Negative feedback clusters around connection hiccups and chart costs. No obvious wave of fake reviews, but verify the variant before buying. Verdict. Recommended for boaters with a caution label. If you actually use a Garmin chart plotter and Fusion on your boat, the Quatix 7 earns its keep. At $339.99, if it is truly new and the variant you want, that is a steal. If it is renewed or the wrong model, the value drops fast. Pros: real marine integration, rugged build, excellent daylight visibility, strong battery. Cons: setup complexity, optional charts, cost, variant confusion, MIP display lacks AMOLED pop, Garmin Pay Bank support varies by country. If you are a land-only user, save your money for a Fenix 7 or go AMOLED with the Epix. Sailors and anglers will love this once configured. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I have put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Drop your questions below and tell me if you want a Quatix 7 versus Fenix 7V's Epix shootout next. New deep dive every week. Stay savage out there.